A lot of my viewers are kayakers or people who are interested in getting into kayaking, and they're looking for an easy way to load and unload a kayak. So today we're going to take a look at a product that I've had for a couple of years. It's the Thule Hullavator Pro. Let's get four wheels on the road. There's a few different instances where something like this could come in handy. If you've got a four-wheel drive that's really high like mine, it makes it really difficult to get a kayak on and off the roof. As you can see here, I'm about 2.2 meters, 2.3 meters off the roof to where the kayak actually is. So that's one good example of where something like this could come in handy. Another instance where this could come in really handy is if you're unable to reach or get up high to load and unload something that's heavy like a kayak is. Something like this is about 20 kilos. Some people may have a little bit heavier even. If you're looking at you know, those flat kayaks, they're quite a bit heavier than this. They're around about 30 odd kilos, so could come in really handy for that if you're looking for something to load and unload onto a roof, even if it's not as high as mine. In terms of protection, when you've got the kayak mounted to the rack itself, you've got a really thick rubber base here on both of the arm supports. So that's going to sit on the bottom of your kayak and doesn't scratch it at all. Also on the arms that are protecting and holding the outside of the kayak into the rack itself, you've got canvas type material here, and that's also padded on both of these arms here, so makes it really good for impact protection as well. So that's quite handy. Just taking a look now at the hinging mechanism and how it works. 1, 2 points for the hinges here. The latch is here. It's just a simple pull down. You can do it with a couple of fingers. Now I'm having to hold that down. The gas strut is actually pulling the arm up. Once you release the handle down the bottom, double hinge there gets drawn up by the gas cylinder. So when you're putting the kayak up on the roof from the side, it doesn't require any pushing at all. It goes up by itself. That gas cylinder drives it up. Once it's in place there, it's really quite simple. Just tilt down and it's on there. And there's a lock in where it locks on the roof. And that's it, done. Just a couple of points on adjustability here on the front and the back. It's both the same. You can move these mounting arms in or out. So you've got full adjustability. If you want to have it mounted as I have here on the outside, which makes it lower for me, makes it easier for me to get the kayak off. As you can see where I am here, I'm still at chest height, so it's still pretty high. But this is a really extreme example of how high the car is, so probably a little bit different for somebody who's got a normal car. These arms can go up all the way in or down all the way out. And if you've got a wider kayak, you can split them apart and have it adjusted how you want it on the front and how you want it on the back. So completely adjustable. As you can see here, it's nice and secure on the roof. As we mentioned before, you can actually move the mounting points on the rack itself further into the middle or further away from the middle towards the edge. I need to have mine on the edge because I've got the rooftop tent, and when it unfolds, it comes down to a certain point here on the truck. If you've got a car that's a little bit flatter, you can have it further in. I mean, it's completely adjustable, so you can do whatever you like. So that first point is just there, tilting off the edge. That gets you out, and that's pretty much vertically as you're going to be sitting when you get back down the bottom. See there, the gas strut's now coming into effect. And there we're sitting down where we need to be to unload. And you can see now the height that we have down from the top down to where the yak is. So if you're working with a roof that's quite a bit lower than mine, which is where a lot of people's roofs are, down about here, the kayak will be down around about hip height, so it'll make it really easy to unload. Extremely easy. This just makes it, what was an impossible job on mine, a little less impossible. It's a really extreme example of how to use it, but an example nonetheless. In terms of ease on attachment to the roof, you've got these two red clips here. It's just a case of pulling them both in and locking them in the center there. And as you'll see, come straight off. Attaching it back on, same thing. Really easy to do. Another of the brilliant benefits that this unit has is from a security perspective. There's two different points here. So as you can see before, where we were attaching and detaching the roof rack to the roof, there's a plastic case that goes on there, and that's key lockable. Also up here on the tilt, there's a key lock also. So at the moment, click, tilt, turn that key lock on, it's locked, can't move the rack. So from a security perspective, there's a lot of things that are in place for this unit, which is really handy. Just a couple of notes after long-term use of the unit. There's a couple of points that I could see that could be a problem after long term. The main one of which is the gas strut, which is here in the middle. That actually drives the arm up and lifts the kayak up onto the roof rack for you. But as you can see here, I'm still having to really hold on to that as it pushes up. So it's been no problem at all whatsoever. And as you'll see from the condition of the roof racks here, they're just fine. If you keep them clean, keep them lubricated, all the joints, they're perfectly fine. Another point which could be a slight issue, but if you look after them and WD-40 them as I do, is these two little hinge joints here. But again, those are fine. If you look after it, as with anything, it'll last a long time. And this has lasted 2 years now. It's copped a beating as well as being looked after, but it's still performing really well. Let me know what you think of the unit in the comments down below. We'll see you next time we get four wheels on the road. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share the channel. I greatly appreciate it.